Feeney singing We Do the Work. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. We're broadcasting on over 700 stations on Pacifica and NPR and Low Power FM and college and community stations, on public access TV and PBS TV stations, and both TV satellite networks, Dish Network, Channel 9415, Free Speech TV, 9410 Link TV, and DirecTV, Channel 375. And we're video and audio podcasting at democracynow.org. Our headlines also available in Spanish for any radio station to take, in audio form at our website, also in transcript form. I'm Amy Goodman with Juan Gonzalez. We're talking about the global meltdown and how it affects the American worker. Our guest is Bill Fletcher, longtime labor activist, editor of blackcommentator.com, and author of the new book, Solidarity Divided: The Crisis in Organized Labor and a New Path Toward Social Justice. Just continuing on this point of the meltdown, I'm wondering, Bill, your response to what Senator Schumer is encouraging Congress to do, the New York senator offering a financial lifeline to those banks that are willing to renegotiate mortgages for those on the brink of losing their homes, saying if the government's going to bail them out, they have to help bail out American homeowners.
Absolutely. I mean, with any of these bailout packages, there need to be concessions that are made toward, in the interest of regular working people. I think that Senator Schumer is absolutely right. And it's interesting that the banking industry, despite what's going on, despite this meltdown, continues to resist such suggestions, considering them irresponsible. But he's absolutely right. And it's interesting. I was just reading that they're prepared to make concessions on individuals who are threatened with foreclosure on their second homes. I mean, give me a break. Second homes. What about regular people who are losing their first homes, their only residence? I mean, these are the individuals that need to gain the support of government in such a crisis. So I think that the senator is absolutely on point, and this is an issue that I believe that Senator Obama needs to be hammering away at.
Bill, I'd like to get back to your book, per se, Solidarity Divided. Most of it deals with the period when John Sweeney became head of the AFL-CIO, and then the split within the AFL-CIO and the creation of a new labor federation, Change to Win. And I know you were a special assistant to John Sweeney for many years. Your take on what's been happening now among within the dissident federation, the reformers, led by the most influential union, I guess, in the country now, SEIU, the Service Employees International Union. Now the reformers are racked by a major battle within that union over corruption and union democracy, and there are many people speculating that it's going to have an impact on labor's ability to mobilize for the presidential campaign. Your sense of what's going on among the reformers of Change to Win?
Well, I'm actually deeply worried, Juan. The split accomplished nothing. Nothing. There were nothing of any significance. I mean, there has been some level of growth on both sides of the split, the AFL-CIO and Change to Win. There have been plans that have been announced for organizing. But part of the problem is that when you have a split that's not based on principle, that's not based on anything that's very concrete, but it's based on rhetoric and spin, it is almost inevitable that things will start to unravel. And I think that that's what we've been witnessing very recently. In both SEIU as well as Unite Here, which was the merger of, as you know, the hotel workers and the textile workers, textile and garment workers, we're seeing very serious problems of instability and challenges in terms of direction. In SEIU, as you mentioned, what we're witnessing is in the West Coast, there have been allegations of very serious corruption among locals that have been allied very strongly with SEIU President Andy Stern. And in the middle of this absurd attack on one of the largest SEIU locals by the SEIU president, Andy Stern, and this is the United Healthcare Workers West. An attack that comes at absolutely the worst time, an attempt to trustee the local, that is to take it over by the international. So, and it's ironic, Juan, in the spring, there were many of us that were concerned that when United Healthcare Workers West started raising various issues and differences with the Stern leadership, that they were going to be trusteed. And we were told, no, 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 you're paranoid. This is ridiculous. What did they do a few weeks ago? Announce that they're going to have trusteeship hearings with the intention of taking over the local. See, I think that the problem is that the debate that we should have had in our movement back in 2004 and 2005 did not take place. Instead, there were these exchanges about whether organizing or politics was more important, as opposed to understanding, getting at the root of why is our movement in the shape that it's in.
And also, one of the issues that is increasingly coming to the foreground is obviously how will labor function in this presidential campaign? To what degree will it be able to mobilize voters behind the Democratic candidate? Which I think most of the unions now are supporting the Democratic candidate. What do you think will be the effectiveness of the labor movement compared to prior elections?
Well, let me take this in two pieces. One is in terms of this particular problem in SEIU. If SEIU goes forward with this ridiculous idea of a trusteeship of United Healthcare Workers West, they're going to have to dedicate many staff to dealing with the situation, because the members of that local are very, very clear. They're not accepting a trusteeship. So what that means is that people that could otherwise be around the country working on various campaigns are going to be tied up in trying to impose this trusteeship. This is going to be absolutely horrible. But the other problem that goes a little bit beyond this one is that within the union movement, there is this question of race that is starting, a few months ago, started to be raised by some leaders, including, and very notably, AFL-CIO Secretary-Treasurer Richard Trumka, but also by other leaders who have encountered resistance among a segment of the white membership to the idea of backing Obama for the presidency. And we can see it around the country that there is this squeamishness in some sectors about pushing the envelope in terms of supporting the Obama candidacy. Actually, more than anything else, this concerns me. The SEIU situation in California is horrible, and I think it's absurd that there would be any thought of a trusteeship. But this issue of race, which for years union leaders have refused to talk about, beyond this idea of diversity, you taste my food, I'll taste yours, we haven't confronted this issue of race. And so now what do we have? People saying, well, you know, I'm not sure whether I really want to support him, when the basic question is simple. Are you better off now than you were 8 years ago? And if you are not, then you had better be supporting Senator Obama. Yet this is, there's some squeamishness, as I noted. And so I think this, over the next several weeks, this will be the critical question, and I'm hoping that unions on both sides of the split will be forthright in tackling this question. Let's not play any games. The race card, the race issue is central in this race. There's no question about it.
Bill Fletcher, I want to thank you very much for joining us, co-author of the new book, Solidarity Divided, The Crisis in Organized Labor and a New Path Toward Social Justice, also executive editor of blackcommentator.com, former president of TransAfrica Forum. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman with Juan Gonzalez. Juan?
Well, the Electronic Frontier Foundation filed a lawsuit Thursday against the National Security Agency, President Bush, and Vice President Dick Cheney, challenging the legality of the administration's electronic surveillance program. The class action